At the start of a project, we break it down into phases, and we must do it to make the whole project more manageable. And one phase typically involves specific work to produce one of the pieces of our project. However, what's more important is that these phases may involve work of different natures. So, for example, on a large IT project, we often follow a software development lifecycle. It may include the following phases: pre-sales, project initiation, concept development, prototyping, planning, requirements definition, UI design, development, integration, testing, deployment, hypercare, maintenance and handoff, closure, and support phases. For sure, it's a long list of many possible phases, but you don't use them all in every single project you lead. You need to identify which ones to use. In any case, on big projects, each phase may take several weeks to several months, so you can treat them as sub-projects. Unfortunately, on small projects, these phases often overlap and merge, making it difficult to differentiate between them. But here's what you need to understand. You can and should use different processes, tools, or even project management approaches in each of these phases. For example, we often use Scrum framework to manage the implementation phase of a software project. That's precisely how hybrid project management with Scrum or Kanban works. But at the same time, you'll probably never use Scrum to manage UI design or handoff phases. For those phases, you use something very simplistic. For example, you'll just track tasks and due dates for those tasks. Okay, I understand this sounds a bit complicated, but here's great news for you. If you work in one industry for most of your career, you need to learn no more than 2 or 3 typical project life cycles. Alright, I now want to highlight the main takeaway so far. The industry and niche where you work dictate the project management life cycle and most probably the approach you can take. There are just a few commonly accepted life cycles in each industry, so you don't need to invent a project management approach from scratch for each and every project.